Hi everyone, my name is Samantha and I'm a member of Northwestern IT Research Computing Services. Welcome to this video, Text Editors Vim, Introduction to Vim. This video is divided in 3 sections. In section 1, you will get a general overview of text editors. In section 2, I will talk about one text editor in particular, Vim, and I will introduce you and explain how to perform some basic operations. In the last and third section, you will be able to put in practice what we have learned in section 2 by following a demo where you can follow along and do some of the Vim actions in your own terminal. Section 1, Overview of Text Editors. So let's start by answering the most simple question. What are text editors? Text editors are a tool that allow users to perform actions that range from writing a note to create scripts for automations. What makes text editors so special is that unlike processors such as Word, text editors do not have any formatting options. This means that in a text editor, you cannot execute actions such as changing the font size of a text or changing its color, because all the actions in text editors are restricted to plain text output. Finally, some of the benefits of text editors are that they facilitate file management in the terminal. Additionally, by focusing on the content rather than the style, text editors are very flexible for different kinds of purposes. For example, you can use a text editor to write an essay, but you can also use it to write code. Finally, and in the context of Quest, text editors are a very useful tool since they allow users to create job scripts that they can later submit. A quick search online will show you that there are plenty of text editors out there. Some examples are Nano, Vim, Micro, Emacs, and Notepad. In this video, we will be covering Vim. Section 2, Vim. Before talking about Vim itself, it's important to talk about its modes. Vim has 4 modes: normal mode, insert mode, command mode, and visual mode. The reason why modes are so important is because depending on the mode you are in, then you will have access to a specific set of actions. So let's begin with normal mode. Normal mode is the basic and default mode of Vim. You access it by default. This means that as soon as you open Vim, it will be in normal mode. If you are in any other mode and you want to go back to normal mode, you can just select the escape key. Most of the actions in normal mode are related to cursor movement. The second mode is the insert mode, and this is the mode where you can actually edit the text. To access insert mode, first you have to be in normal mode, and then you can type either I, A, or O. And all of the actions in insert mode are related to actually editing the text. The third mode is a command mode, and this mode executes most of the file management procedures. To access command mode, you must be in normal mode and then type semicolon. Some of the actions you can execute here are saving the file or exiting the Vim panel. Finally, visual mode. Visual mode has a very important function, which is a highlighting function, and it simplifies many actions in Vim. You can access the visual mode by first being in normal mode and then typing either V, Control and V, or Shift and V. Some of the actions you can execute in this mode are intending when writing code and selecting blocks of text. So now to actually start using Vim, first we need to check that Vim is installed. You can check that by running vim --version. If you get an output that looks like this picture, this means that Vim is already installed in your computer, so you are good to go. Otherwise, you will have to install it first. Because every computer has a different operating system, and this affects the way in which you can install a certain package or software, we will not go over the installation. But please feel free to reach out to us if you have any troubles or questions. It's also important to mention that if you're using the Quest environment, then Vim is already installed. Creating or opening a file. To create or open a file, you can run the command vim followed by the file name. If the file name already existed in the directory before, then Vim will just open that existing file. Otherwise, it will create it and then open it. As soon as you hit enter, Vim will take you to the Vim panel, which looks like the picture here. Editing a file. Now that you have opened your file, you probably want to edit it. To do so, first you need to access the insert mode. Remember that to access insert mode, you need to be in normal mode and then type either I, A, or O. And then you can just start editing your file. Something that you will notice here is that if you try to use your mouse pad, this will not work. And if you want to move around the file, then you need to use the arrow keys. Similarly, if you want to go to the next line, then you need to use the return or enter key. Finally, saving a file. So from the command mode, you can save the file by typing W and select return or enter. And if you want to save and exit the file, then you need to type WQ. If you want to exit without saving your recent changes, then you can type !Q. Vim has a couple of shortcuts that can simplify a lot of the actions we execute. Some shortcuts related to navigating through the file are the search shortcut, which you can access by typing / followed by the pattern you're looking for. Then the key 0, which takes you to the beginning of the current line. The key $symbol, which takes you to the end of the current line. You can also execute actions such as selecting a line or block using visual mode, cutting and pasting using D and then P, or copy and pasting using Y and then P. You can delete individual characters using the key X. You can delete a line or block using the key DD, and you can undo your recent changes using the key U. Section 3, Vim Demo. So now I'm in my terminal, specifically in the Quest terminal, and I'm going to start by accessing a directory called Vim tutorial. As you can see, when I run the ls command, it tells us that the only file in this directory is the longtext.txt file. So let's start with the demo. Before we start actually creating the files and editing them, we need to check that Vim is already installed. We can do so with vim -- version. From this output, we can tell that Vim is already installed, so we can continue. So let's start by creating a file called hello world. You can do so by typing vim followed by the name of your file. As soon as I hit enter, it takes me to the Vim panel. And right now, by default, I'm in the normal mode, which means that if I try to type, nothing will happen. If I want to start editing this file, I need to access the insert mode, which I do from normal mode, in which we are already in, and then typing either I, A, or O. In this case, I will type I. And automatically, Vim will change its bottom to the word insert, which means that we are in insert mode. Now, if I try to type, I can do so without a problem. So in this case, I will write, this is my first edit in the hello world.txt file. So now that I have created this file and edited it, I want to save it. To do so, you need to enter command mode. And you can do that by first going to normal mode with the escape key and then typing semicolon. When you do that, the semicolon will be automatically placed at the bottom of the Vim panel, which means that now you are in the command mode. Because I want to save and exit the Vim panel, I need to type WQ and then hit enter. Now, when I run ls, you can see that there's a new file created. If you run vim hello world.txt again, you can see that Vim will take us to the pre-existing file. So now let's exit. I can exit from command mode and then Q, because we have not made any new changes. So now you know how to create, edit, and save a file. Now let's go over some of the shortcuts we have seen in section 2. To do so, I will use a pre-populated text file, which is long text. So let's open it by typing vim long text.txt. So let's start with a search shortcut. We can use the search shortcut from normal mode, in which we're already in, and then type in the / key. After you have done so, you can type the pattern you're looking for. For example, let's look for the word from. If you want to go through the different instances of that pattern in your file, you can hit the key N. So now let's look for another pattern, lorem. And now let's look for the same thing, but not capitalized. As you can see here, Vim is case sensitive. So now let's put the next shortcut in practice. Let's go to the beginning of the current line. So right now our cursor is in this line, which means that this is the current line, and we want to go to the beginning. So you can hit 0. If instead you want to go to the end of the current line, you can use the $ symbol. So beginning, end, beginning, end. Now let's go over some editing shortcuts. Let's start by selecting a line or block of text. To do so, I will use the visual mode. We can access visual mode from normal mode and then selecting V. So right now we're in normal mode, and now selecting V, now Vim says visual. And using the arrow keys, you can select the block of text you want. After that, you can copy and paste using Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V if you're using a Mac, but if you're in any other terminal, you can also use the key Y. And then if you want to paste it, then just select P. And as you can see, I have copy and pasted this text. Now, if you want to cut and paste, you can do the same. So go into visual mode with escape P. Select the block of text. And to cut, select D. If now you want to paste the text, you can now select P. If you want to delete individual characters, you can use the shortcut X. So for example, if my cursor is there, I can start deleting individual characters by clicking X. If you want to delete a line, you can select DD. And as you can see, the line goes away. DD, and it goes away. If you want to undo your changes, you can select U. With that, we conclude our tutorial. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions, please reach out to us in this email.